I have an invention idea, but no money. This is a tricky spot to be in, but there are paths and processes you can use to move forward. Early in my career, I had ideas but no money, so this is something I've had a lot of practice with. To start with, I'm going to give you a process that is 100% free. I'm then going to give you a process assuming you have about $1,000. I think most inventors, when they say I have no money, really they have a little bit of money. It's just they're imagining $20,000 patents and $10,000 prototypes and paying for manufacturing runs. Most people can scrape together $1,000. But let's talk about the free one first. Let's say you literally have no money.
In terms of money, we have no money.
Well, there are a few things you need. You need a representation of your idea so you can pitch it. You need some protection and a process for getting it to market. I'm going to start at the end and work my way backwards. Let's talk about the route to market first. I'm going to recommend licensing. What happens during licensing is a company basically rents your invention. So they will manufacture it, they will distribute it, they will sell it, and then for each unit they sell, they pay you a royalty. Now they're putting up all the money and they're doing all the work, so they keep the lion's share of the profits. For each unit they sell, you'll usually get about 5% of the wholesale price. That's your royalty, that's your payment. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but by licensing it to a big company, hopefully a multinational with revenue in hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, they can sell a lot of units and that 5% starts to look pretty interesting. You can still earn tens of thousands of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and if it's a hit product, millions of dollars a year. So licensing is the route to market I will recommend because the company will put forward the money and effort and expertise to launch it and sell it. Now let's cover the next step, protection. You need some protection in place before you pitch your invention to the company. Now, there are better ways to do it than what I'm about to recommend, but we're talking about free options, so I'm going to talk about the free options. The most common free option is the non-disclosure agreement, also called an NDA for short. They're very common. If you Google them, you'll see lots of articles about them and even free NDAs that you can download. So basically, when you are approaching a company saying, hey, I want to license my invention to you, what you would then do is say, can you please sign my NDA before you take a look at it? Now, not all companies will agree to this. On average, I find about a third of companies will agree to it up front before they've seen your invention. And they're not being malicious, they're just protecting themselves. If they happen to be developing an invention that's similar to yours, they may even be launching one soon that's similar to yours, they sign an NDA and then you show them your invention and it's the same, it puts them in a tricky spot because they're going to be honest, they're going to say, hey, look, we're already working on this, we're about to launch it. Some inventors at this stage will get a bit crazy and say, no, you're lying, I'm going to sue you.
Sue, yeah, I might even sue you!
And companies don't want that. They want to protect themselves, which is completely fair enough, and they should have this right. So some companies will sign NDAs, but not all of them. This is the free option, and it's a good option, it does work. You can submit to some companies, some will say no. And for finding companies that license ideas, this is getting easier and easier these days. A lot of companies will just advertise it on their website. So a couple of common ones in the kitchen industry are Lifetime Brands, OXO. In novelty gift, there's Fred and Friends, Suck UK. In power tools, there's Stanley Black & Decker. There are companies embracing open innovation in all industries. You just have to search for them and it's not that hard. Just spend a couple of hours on Google and you should have 5, 10, 20 companies that are open to outside ideas. And if you like a company and it's not clear if they're into open innovation, just call them up and ask. Just call corporate headquarters, say, hey, I have an invention I would like to license to your company. Is this something you do? And if yes, what's the process for pitching it? Okay, so that's protection. Let's now talk about the next step, creating a representation of your idea. Again, what I'm going to share with you perhaps isn't the best, most effective method, but we're talking about the free way. So the free way is to download some free 3D CAD software, take some tutorials, and create a 3D CAD model of your invention. And then that's what you'll show them, a photo of that 3D CAD model when you pitch it. Now, 3D CAD software is really powerful, really wonderful, and really easy to use. A couple of the free options are Blender or Fusion 360. You can go download these right now, and they'll usually have some tutorials built in. You can also find them on YouTube, and within a couple of hours you can have the basics down and be creating 3D CAD models. After a week or a month you can be really quite competent. You can pick it up very quickly. Really give it a try. It's a very useful tool to have. And that's a free way for someone with no money to get their invention to market. Download some 3D CAD software, create a 3D CAD model, and then that's the physical representation of your idea. Find some companies that are into open innovation, into licensing, have them sign an NDA, and then share your idea with them. And in terms of making contact with the company, search that company on LinkedIn, get a list of employees, and find one in a relevant department who would have some involvement with inventions. It might be like the director of open innovation or product development manager, product designer, and then you can contact them on LinkedIn and say, hey, will you take a look at my invention idea? You can start a conversation that way. You can also just call up the company and request that person by name. And then I'd usually have a very short call script where I'd say, hey, my name's Rory Flanagan. I'm a product developer. I have this new invention that I'd like to show your company. Can I please send you my invention idea? I'd normally say sell sheet there, but I don't want to talk to you guys about sell sheets just yet because we're doing the free option. I'd say, can I send you a render of my invention, or can I send you an image of my invention? And it's that simple. It's really not hard. And if you get your invention into 5, 10, 20 companies, there is a chance one of them will license it. Now, there's a lot you can do to increase the chances of licensing your invention, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So let's say you don't have a lot of money, but you have a little bit of money. And I expect this is the case with most people. They can scrape together a little money from friends and family, a loan, a credit card, their job, just do a little extra work, some freelance work, whatever. I'm sure you can scrape together $1,000, a couple of $1,000 to launch your invention. Now, you still have a pretty low budget, so I'm going to recommend the same route to market, licensing. When it comes to protecting your idea, I'm going to give you a slightly better option. It's called the Provisional Patent Application. If you file one of these, it gives you patent pending status for 12 months. You can put patent pending on your invention, which looks a lot more professional. You now don't have to have all companies sign an NDA. Some will have you sign an NDA anyway, but you don't have to be asking them for that up front. You can just show them your invention, which is a lot more easy and flowy. You're removing roadblocks, you're removing resistance. And yeah, the filing fee is just $75. There are courses and tutorials that will teach you how to do them yourself. Although for a few $100 or $1,000, you can very easily outsource that, and that's much better. You know, it's going to save you a lot of time, and you're going to have someone with more expertise doing it for you. Now, in terms of creating a pitch of your invention, you can still go down the 3D CAD route, but if you have a little bit of money, I would recommend hacking a prototype instead, and it looks a lot more professional and you'll learn a lot more in the process as well. What this is taking, let's say your invention has 3 features. You can probably find each of those features in a product somewhere on the market. If you get on eBay, Amazon, Alibaba, AliExpress, wherever, and search for it, you can probably find an invention with that feature or something close to it. And then buy 3, 4, 5 products that have that feature, or sorry, each individual feature, and then spend an afternoon taking them apart and sticking them back together again to create an approximation of your invention. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to work. Although often it will end up being pretty because you're making it from finished, polished products. You can create some really awesome prototypes through hacking, and it's very cheap. I've hacked some sensational prototypes for less than $50. And then you can take photos of that hacked prototype. You could even make a video of it working, and then you can send that to the licensee instead. So there you go, guys. That's 2 processes for getting your invention to market from start to finish if you have no money or if you have a little bit of money. Now, there's always ways you can do things better, but we'll save that for another video. If you're right at the beginning and you've got a small budget, give these processes a try and you'll have a lot of fun with it. You'll learn a lot and you may just get a licensing deal. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for listening.